All right, guys, in this video, I'm gonna show you how to do hair in the low poly style. So not only like my beard and that type of hair, but also like different textures of hair. So let's get started. You could kind of see I changed the color. I even changed the actual layer that I did my hair in. For you, you're still gonna do it in the artwork layer, but just for the sake of this tutorial, I created a new layer just so it didn't get confusing with all of the other reds. There's the green that I'm gonna do for it. But before I start that, I'm gonna show you guys a few other things. All right over here, I got this from different drawing tutorials, and it's a way of selecting and creating sections of hair. So when you're dividing your hair, because obviously you have to create shapes to divide it into, and of course shapes that are only created with straight lines, you have to think about the sections. And there's natural like sections that get created when you move your hair one way or the other. Like in this example right here, you can see the different sections of curls. It's not one individual hair at a time, right? There's sections of it. Same thing with this. You can see there's natural parts. There's natural sections that just get created by that. And you can usually see it with the shadow, or you could see it just by looking at the hair and the direction that it goes in. This is one of the images that we're going to be working with, just to show you a difference in structure there. Yeah, more ways of separating hair and the sections in it. Different textures of hair. All right, in Illustrator, I have this section right here, but first, I want to show you a little bit of this one right here. Let me bring back my stuff. So go to Window, Workspace, make sure that it's Essentials Classic. If it's already clicked, just click Reset Essentials Classic. That's going to give you everything the same way that we're looking at it right now. So in my layer, I'm still going to work on the artwork layer. And what I'm going to do with the pen tool, and of course a bright color as the stroke, nothing as the fill, I'm going to first outline the outside. You guys have already done this. Now, instead of doing this in like, here, just I'm going to try to mimic some of the texture. Because here's the thing, some of the curls are a little bit tighter than other hair structures. Oh, that's right. I forgot to show you one other image. Yeah. You can see that this hair structure is a little bit different than the other one. The curls are a lot looser. So in this one that I'm doing right here in Illustrator, I'm doing a lot more points in between. You can see the kind of parts right there. Brings up here. And then I move over here. Yeah, and sometimes the hands or certain things will be in the way. That's okay. I pick it back up over here. And by the way, I hit escape there, or you could click here to deselect and then start back at a different point. All right. And I'm not going to go all the way around, but I'm going to show you now how to divide the structure here. So I can see that right here. I would do the hairline as well. Here. And you probably did this when you were doing the face. And if you didn't, of course, you would be doing it now. But the hairline right here. Sure, and it would probably go on to there. Now to divide the sections here, I can see that there's a shadow right here. And I would think that since the hair comes up to here, there would be almost like a section right over here, right? Where there's a section of hair, and then there's almost like a, how would I call it? Like a little ledge of hair that creates that shadow right there. And maybe right over here. And when it comes to hair, yes, the natural like separations you want to go with, but also after that would be like the difference between light, medium, and dark. I'm gonna do that. There you go. And then the direction of the hair. So once I had the structure set up, which I'm Still not there. I'm looking at different parts here. Let me see. There you go. And then I would come up here and separate the different sections that are darker, that are lighter. And then yes, eventually like the separation of the sections into shapes. But if you look at it right now, that sets up the basic structure of the hair. It does mimic the actual texture of the hair as well. Now, I usually start off with the Pinterest page. So I wanted to show you guys this first, but I also want to show you like what there is on Pinterest. So on Pinterest, I selected a few, and I know you've seen some of these before. This one you haven't, but you can see what direction the hair is going in, right? You can see the individual sections that are light, medium, and dark. And some of these, obviously, the colors are different. This one looks almost like individual strands, which you do not have to do, right? A lot of the texture is pretty similar on these. If I go into Pinterest and I look up LowPoly hair, I saw some really crazy ones. No, let me just look LowPoly portrait. I want to show you a bad example or something that's not as good, right? There's the one of Keanu Reeves. This would take a while, the texture that's done here, but obviously it does mimic the texture of the hair. Something like this, you could tell is not really what the texture of the hair is. You could tell that by the lips. You could tell that by this. So this is not a good example, right? That does not mimic the actual like shape of the hair or the texture of the hair. Or something like this where it's just random triangles, right? This is like a computer generated one. So when you're doing yours in Illustrator, try to keep to the structure of the hair that you see. Like if you see mine right here, this structure kind of goes with it. If you look at the hair on my mustache versus the hair on my beard, right? These are pretty straight, kind of like rounded over. So for the sections down here, right? For these sections, my lines are going to look very different. They're going to have this kind of a curve right there. Even right here, they might have this kind of curve. Because you could tell like it's curlier on my beard than it is here. It's curlier on my beard than it is in my mustache. And I want to mimic that. If you look at the shapes that I created for the fur, it looks very pointy. And then when you look at the fur itself, it looks very pointy, right? It's fur. So the fur is an example of hair, but obviously with your hair, it's going to be different. So for mine, maybe I wouldn't have necessarily done this part right here, but you want to create the shapes that are going to mimic the hair that's behind it. All right. Hopefully that helps. Have fun.